The title of today's story is The Princess and Stepmother, so let's start the story. Once upon a time, in a faraway kingdom, there lived a kind and gentle princess named Sarah. She was loved by all who knew her, for her heart was as pure as the morning dew. But alas, her happiness was marred by the presence of her stepmother, a woman consumed by greed and envy. The princess's stepmother, Lady Grimhild, aspired to be the most beautiful in the kingdom. She would spend hours looking at her enchanted mirror, asking her who was the most beautiful in this country. And each time the mirror would answer, "You, my queen, are beautiful, it is true. But more beautiful still is Princess Sarah, whose heart is so pure and true." Furious at being overshadowed by her stepdaughter, Lady Grimhild devised a wicked plan to rid herself of the princess once and for all. She consulted with the dark sorcerer, who brewed a potion of deceit and enchantment. With this potion, Lady Grimhild intended to cast a spell upon Princess Sarah, transforming her into a lowly frog, banishing her from the kingdom forever. One moonlit night, while Princess Sarah lay sound asleep in her chambers, Lady Grimhild crept in, a vial of the potion clutched in her hand. With a whispered incantation, she poured the potion into a goblet of water by the princess's bedside, and as Sarah drank it in her sleep, she was engulfed in a shimmering mist of magic. But as the spell took hold, a powerful force intervened. The enchanted forest surrounding the kingdom sensed the princess's plight and sent forth its guardian, a wise old owl named Ollie. With a hoot of determination, Ollie swooped into the princess's chamber, snatching the goblet from her grasp before the potion could fully take effect. Startled awake by the commotion, Princess Sarah found herself face to face with the owl, who explained the treachery of her stepmother and the danger she now faced. Determined to undo the spell and protect the princess, Ollie guided her on a quest to seek out the legendary fairy of the lake, the only being with the power to break the enchantment. Through dark forests and across treacherous rivers they journeyed, facing challenges and obstacles at every turn. But with courage in their hearts and the guidance of Ollie's wisdom, they pressed onward, their resolve unwavering. Finally, they reached the shimmering shores of the enchanted lake, where the fairy of the lake awaited them, her ethereal beauty radiant in the moonlight. With a gentle touch of her wand, she broke the spell that bound Princess Sarah, restoring her to her true form. But their victory was short-lived, for Lady Grimhild, consumed by rage, had followed them to the lake, intent on finishing what she had started. With a wave of her hand, she summoned a fierce storm to engulf them, lightning flashing and thunder roaring. In the face of this great danger, Princess Sarah called upon the magic she had discovered within herself, channeling the pureness of her heart to calm the raging tempest. With each beat of her heart, the storm began to subside, until at last, the skies cleared, and the kingdom was bathed in the warm glow of the sun once more. Defeated and vanquished, Lady Grimhild fled into the depths of the forest, never to be seen again. And as peace returned to the kingdom, Princess Sarah was hailed as a hero, her bravery and kindness celebrated by all. From that day on, the kingdom prospered under the reign of Princess Sarah, and they all lived happily ever after. The title of today's story is The Snake Princess, so let's start the story. Once upon a time, in a prosperous kingdom, people were celebrating the wedding of their beloved princess. She was renowned for her beauty, and her mere presence could melt hearts. When the time came, she chose the most handsome prince. "Oh, princess, you sing very well. Your beauty is peerless," praised the prince as the festivities continued. When the princess, mesmerized by the festivities, went to her room and looked in the mirror, she suddenly noticed a small scratch on her face. Seeing this, the princess got scared. "It's nothing, princess," reassured a courtier. "Your wedding day is today, and a mere scratch can't change that." Distraught, the princess thought, "Now only my prince can console me." She ran to find him. "My dear prince," she began, but he interrupted her when he saw the bruise on her face. "No, I cannot marry you now. You are no longer a beautiful princess," he said coldly, and walked away. Grief-stricken, the princess fled to the royal garden, a sacred place associated with her family for centuries. The fairies living there came out to help him. "Poor girl, if we take out her bruise, will it make any difference?" An angel thought. "Nonsense, it won't change anything," replied the other. "Fairies who protect my family, I know you," said the princess. The fairies admitted, We have known you since you were a child. Forget that prince. There are many people better than him. You will find a better prince. I hate love now. I don't want to marry anyone, declared the princess. But did he know your real self? Your likes, your dislikes? A fairy asked the question. No, he didn't. I never told him anything about me, she admitted. If he loved me, he would accept me as I am. I don't care anymore. Fairies, please turn me into an animal. I don't want to be in human form right now, she pleaded. With a heavy heart, the fairies cast a spell, and the princess was transformed into a snake. Goodbye, my family, my friends, she whispered. Now the enchanted garden became her new home, and she sat on a stone contemplating her fate. Despite her new appearance, her kind nature remained, and a man named Cedric took notice of her. Are you the princess of snakes? He asked, surprised. Yes, but I'm lost and confused. I don't know what to do, she replied. If you don't mind, there's a cottage nearby where you can stay, said Cedric. At first the princess did not agree to this, but after thinking for a while she agreed. Days turned into weeks and Cedric visited her often, bringing gifts and spending time with her. Thank you, Cedric. Without you, I don't know what would have happened to me or how I would have survived here, she said. It's my pleasure, my good friend princess, Cedric replied. They used to spend the whole day together and roam in the forest. As they explored the forest together, the princess found happiness she had never seen before. I have never had so much fun, exclaimed the princess. Cedric saw her happiness, realizing how special she was despite her transformation. You should always be happy no matter what form you take, Cedric said. One day, Cedric seemed very worried, and the princess asked him the reason. Cedric said, The people of my kingdom are troubled by bandits. They come at night, steal, and create fear. I wish I could help them. The princess, now feeling a sense of purpose, said, We can help them. We must be prepared for anything, even bandits. Princess tells Cedric her plan. Weeks passed and their bond grew stronger. One night, the door of the hut creaked open and they knew it must be robbers. Cedric and the princess prepared to attack. This time, everything has to be perfect, Cedric said. As soon as the bandits enter the hut, Cedric pounces on them. A fierce battle was taking place between Cedric and the bandits when the princess revealed herself, hissed and frightened them, forcing them to flee. All the robbers started getting scared after seeing the snake. One of the bandits attempted to kill the princess, but Cedric saw it. He came forward to save the princess and killed the robber. Cedric, why did you risk so much for me? The princess asked. Because even as a snake you are important to me. I really care about you and love you, he replied. At that very moment the spell was broken and the princess returned to her human form. You came back? Cedric exclaimed. Yes, because you showed true love, she said. Thank you, Cedric. Together, they faced off the bandits and with the princess's courage and Cedric's support, they defended the kingdom. After the battle, all the bandits left and never returned to the kingdom. With time their love deepened and they decided to get married. They got married in a grand ceremony, and thus they remained happy. They taught the kingdom that true beauty and love come from within and not from your exterior.
The title of today's story is The Silver Moon Princess, so let's start the story. Once upon a time, in a magical kingdom far beyond the mountains and forests, there was a princess named Celine. She was known as the Silver Moon Princess because she was born on a night when the moon shone brighter than ever. Her beauty was radiant, and her long silver hair sparkled like moonlight. Celine was kind-hearted and loved by all in the kingdom. Celine lived in a grand castle with her parents, King Orion and Queen Aria. The castle was surrounded by lush gardens and shimmering lakes, and every night, the moonlight would cast a magical glow over the entire kingdom. The people believed that Celine was blessed by the moon goddess, and that she had a special connection with the moon. One evening, while Celine was walking in the garden, she noticed a strange glow coming from the lake. Curious, she approached the water and saw a silver swan swimming gracefully. The swan glided to the shore and transformed into a beautiful fairy. Princess Celine, the fairy said, I am Luna, the moon fairy. The moon goddess has sent me to deliver a message. Luna explained that a dark wizard named Umbra had discovered a way to steal the moon's light. If he succeeded, the entire kingdom would be plunged into darkness. Celine was the only one who could stop him because of her special bond with the moon. Determined to save her kingdom, Selene agreed to embark on a quest to find the moon crystal, a powerful artifact that could defeat Umbra. Luna gave Selene a silver locket that would guide her to the crystal. "Remember, princess, the moon will always light your path," Luna said before transforming back into a swan and disappearing into the night. Selene set off on her journey with her loyal horse, Starfire. They traveled through enchanted forests, crossed sparkling rivers, and climbed steep mountains. Along the way, Selene encountered various magical creatures. She befriended a group of forest elves who provided her with enchanted arrows, and a wise old owl who gave her a map showing the way to the moon crystal. One night, as Selene camped under the stars, she was awakened by a soft whisper. "Princess Selene, wake up." It was Luna, the moon fairy. "You must hurry. Umbra is getting closer to the moon crystal." Selene followed the locket's guidance and soon found herself in a dark and eerie forest. The trees were twisted and a thick fog covered the ground. Suddenly, shadows moved around her, and she realized she was surrounded by Umbra's minions. Selene drew her enchanted arrows and fought bravely. With each arrow she shot, the minions vanished into thin air. Finally, Selene reached a hidden cave where the moon crystal was kept. The cave was guarded by a fierce monster. The monster's wings shimmered like silver, and its eyes glowed with a mysterious light. Selene took a deep breath and approached the monster. "Great monster," she said, "I seek the moon crystal to save my kingdom from darkness." The monster gazed at her with wise eyes. "I sense the purity of your heart, princess. To claim the moon crystal, you must prove your courage and wisdom." The monster presented Selene with 3 challenges. The first challenge was to solve a riddle. Selene thought carefully and answered correctly. The second challenge was to cross a bridge made of moonbeams without falling. With her graceful movements, Selene crossed the bridge safely. The final challenge was to defeat a giant shadow creature using her enchanted arrows. Selene aimed true and vanquished the creature. Impressed by her bravery and skill, the monster granted Selene the moon crystal. "Use its power wisely, princess," the monster advised. "Remember, the moon's light is strongest when it shines for others." With the moon crystal in her possession, Selene hurried back to her kingdom. As she approached, she saw that Umbra had already begun his dark spell. The moonlight was fading, and darkness spread across the land. Selene raced to the castle and climbed to the highest tower. Holding the moon crystal high, Selene called upon the moon goddess. "Moon goddess, lend me your strength to save my people." The moon crystal glowed brightly, and a beam of silver light shot into the sky, connecting with the moon. The moon's light intensified, and a wave of pure energy swept across the kingdom. Umbra's dark magic was shattered, and he was defeated. The moonlight returned, brighter and more beautiful than ever. The people of the kingdom cheered and celebrated their brave princess. Selene's parents, King Orion and Queen Aria, were overjoyed to see their daughter return safely. They praised her courage and wisdom. "You have truly earned your title as the Silver Moon Princess," they said. The kingdom flourished under Selene's rule. She continued to protect her people and maintain the bond with the moon. Every night she would walk in the gardens and look up at the sky, knowing that the moon goddess was watching over her. One night, as Selene gazed at the moon, Luna the moon fairy appeared once more. "Princess Selene," she said, "you have done well. The moon goddess is pleased with your bravery and kindness. As a reward, she grants you a wish." Selene thought for a moment and then smiled. "I wish for my kingdom to always be filled with light and happiness," she said. Luna nodded and waved her wand. A shower of silver sparkles fell from the sky, and the kingdom was forever blessed with peace and prosperity. And so, the Silver Moon Princess and her people lived happily ever after, guided by the gentle light of the moon. The title of today's story is The Prince of Rainbow Land. So let's start the story. Once upon a time, there was Rainbow Land, a rainbow-filled kingdom amidst shimmering clouds and sparkling waterfalls. Prince Lumiere reigned in the Rainbow Kingdom, his hair swaying like sunshine, and eyes shining like sapphires. Every day, laughter echoed throughout the country, riding on the wings of mischievous rainbow fairies. These were no ordinary fairies. Each had wings that shimmered with a single vibrant color of the rainbow. The eldest, Ruby, had wings the color of ripe red cherries, and she had a fiery spirit that symbolized bravery. Oriana, a beautiful fairy with wings the orange color of a tangerine sunset, embodies warmth, enthusiasm, and a serene aura. Citrine, with lemon-colored wings, was known for her intelligence, quick thinking, and ability to create illusions. Green-winged Emerald was the protector of all things that grew and had a deep connection to the land. Sapphire, with wings the color of the summer sky, was a symbol of wisdom and could create cool breezes. Indigo, a mischievous fairy with dusk-shaded wings, was a master of playful tricks and illusions. He also had the amazing ability to find his way in the dark. The wings of the youngest Violet were like sapphires in bloom. These fairies, with wings that shimmered with all the colors of the rainbow, played merry pranks and kept the land alive. However, there was a dark secret hidden beneath the rainbow. The Shadow King, the king of darkness, lived beyond the Whispering Woods forest, a place where the colors of the rainbow could not reach. He yearned to extinguish the rainbow land's light and cover it in its eternal darkness. One day the rainbow fairies returned from their revelry, their wings drooping and their laughter quiet. They said that a dark shadow is moving through the Whispering Woods, draining the colors from the flowers and silencing the chirping birds. Panic spread across Rainbow Land. Lumiere, although young, knew he had to save it. "Gather your courage, fairies," he announced. "We will find the source of this darkness and banish it." Thus began Lumiere's adventure. He, along with a small group of brave fairies, set out into the Whispering Wood. The once vibrant trees stood like giant skeletons, their leaves horribly brown. The path ahead seemed to swallow the light completely. Suddenly, a voice echoed from the shadows. "Zo, the foolish prince dares to enter my territory." The Shadow King laughed, sounding like the wind whistling through a graveyard. Lumiere, although a prince, had never faced such a dangerous enemy. The Shadow King was a swirling mass of darkness, with eyes that burned like embers. He was completely surrounded by black, but then Lumiere saw a small shining tear on the king's shadow. Lumiere said, gathering courage, "Why do you want to steal our joy, Shadow King? Don't you know that beauty comes in all colors, even the darkest?" The Shadow King faltered. He did not expect any questions. "Beauty?" he scoffed. "There is only darkness. That is the true essence. The absence of anything weak or bright means darkness." He started laughing. Said Ruby, a brave fairy with wings like ripe red cherries. "But darkness isn't strong, it's just empty. True strength comes from facing your fears, not from hiding in them." The Shadow King seemed to be shrinking. Lumiere, sensing a glimpse of the truth, moved forward. "Let us show you the beauty of light, Shadow King. Come with us to Rainbow Land where all 7 colors of the rainbow shine." What followed was a tense silence. Then, to everyone's surprise, the Shadow King agreed. Actually, the Shadow King was not like this before. The Shadow King was once a genius known as the Starlight Prince. The secret of his transformation was hidden in a ritual. Starlight Prince became greedy for more power to protect Rainbowland. He wanted to gain all the power from the night sky. He believed that darkness contained a hidden power, a counterpoint to Rainbowland's living light. However, the ritual backfired. Darkness took over him, turning his bright form into the monstrous Black Shadow King. The prince knew that only light can defeat darkness. That is why he asked the Shadow King to accompany him. As they emerged from the Whispering Woods, the land gasped. The Shadow King began to glow and change when exposed to light. Where once there was darkness, a beautiful light spread. Jagged rocks turned into shimmering castles, and dead trees bloomed with midnight blue flowers. Rainbow Land had never seen such beauty. It was not the bright, happy beauty they were used to, but it was a dark, mesmerizing beauty nonetheless. The Shadow King, no longer an enemy, became a friend, Prince Starlight. Slowly, the colors of Rainbow Land started coming back and happiness came back again. Prince Starlight was made the commander of Rainbow Land, and so Lumiere and Starlight ruled with wisdom and happiness.
The title of today's story is The Snow Princess, so let's start the story. Once upon a time, in a faraway land, there was a kingdom covered in snow. The kingdom was ruled by a kind and wise king and queen. They had a beautiful daughter named Alice, known to everyone as the Snow Princess. Alice had the magical ability to create ice and snow with a wave of her hand. Alice loved her kingdom and her people. Every winter she would create beautiful ice sculptures, decorate the trees with sparkling snowflakes, and even make ice slides for the children to play on. The people adored her and looked forward to winter every year. One day, an evil sorcerer named Malakar heard about Alice's powers. He wanted to capture her and use her magic for his own wicked plans. Malakar devised a scheme to kidnap the Snow Princess and take her to his dark castle in the mountains. One cold evening, Malakar disguised himself as a wandering traveler and arrived at the palace gate. He told the guards that he had an urgent message for the king and queen. When he was brought before the royal family, he revealed his true identity and cast a spell that froze everyone in the palace except Alice. Before Alice could react, Malakar trapped her in a cage of enchanted ice and took her away. The state fell into despair. Without the Snow Princess, winter loses its charm, and the land becomes harsh, relentlessly cold. Due to extreme cold, the people of the state became statues of ice. The king and queen also became ice sculptures. People missed Alice very much and were afraid that they would never see her again. In the dark castle, Alice was locked away in a tower. Despite the cold and loneliness, she remained strong and hopeful. She knew she had to escape and return to her kingdom. Using her powers, she began to create a small ice key every night, chipping away at her icy prison. Back in the kingdom, a brave young knight named Liam decided to rescue Alice. He had always admired the Snow Princess and could not bear to see the kingdom suffer. He set out on a perilous journey to Malakar's castle, armed with his sword and a heart full of courage. After days of traveling through blizzards and icy mountains, Liam finally reached the dark castle. He fought off Malakar's minions and climbed the tower where Alice was held captive. When he reached the top, he found Alice working on her ice key. Together they managed to break the enchanted ice and free Alice from her cage. But Malakar was not far behind. He stormed into the tower, furious to see his prisoner escaping. With a roar, he unleashed a powerful spell to freeze Liam and Alice forever. Just as the spell was about to hit them, Alice used her magic to create a shield of ice, deflecting Malakar's attack. A fierce battle ensued. Alice and Liam fought bravely, using their combined strength and wit. Finally, Alice summoned all her power and created a blinding blizzard that engulfed Malakar. The sorcerer, overwhelmed by the cold and snow, was defeated and vanished into thin air. With Malakar gone, the dark castle began to crumble. Liam and Alice hurried down the tower and escaped just in time. They made their way back to the kingdom, where the people rejoiced at the sight of their beloved Snow Princess. Alice used her magic to lift the spell on the palace and thaw the frozen king and queen. The kingdom celebrated with a grand feast, and Alice was hailed as a hero. Winter returned to its former beauty with sparkling snowflakes and joyful ice sculptures. Alice and Liam became close friends and married over time. And so Alice, Liam, and the entire kingdom lived happily ever after, their hearts always warmed by the light of their love and the magic of the Snow Princess.